My name is Rachel Forsyth from the Centre for Excellence in Learning and Teaching, and this is a short screencast on using the University Standards descriptors, and I'm going to do that by way of a worked example from one of my own units. Now, I'm sure you recognise what you see before you here, a unit outline. This is for a level 7 or postgrad unit, and so it's on paper using the old traditional forms. Undergraduate units are more likely to be in PDF format, and you'll get them off the database, but the structure is pretty much the same. So this is for a unit called Researching Academic Practice. I've picked this one because most programmes, particularly at postgrad level, will have some kind of research methods type unit, so you might be able to see the connections more readily. So the first thing I'm going to do is just check learning outcomes, which are here, this area here, and I'm going to produce assessment criteria for one of the assignments. It's going to be this one here, negotiated group assessment, which is assignment 1. And of course, as you know, also on this form we will have a short description of this task here. So what we have here is the 2 learning outcomes which are being assessed and a quick summary of the task. So what I need to do now is to look at the University Standards descriptors and work out which ones are appropriate for me to use for this particular assignment. The University Standards descriptors, this is for level 7, are based on the graduate outcomes. So I just need to go through these fairly quickly and decide which ones are going to be relevant. Finding, evaluating, synthesising and using information, yep. Expressing their ideas, yeah, that's a large part of the task. I want them to work in a team, I think that's important for this particular one. Not too worried about the next one, applying skills to real world situations, because they're going to be doing that in the second part of the unit. I clearly want them to work professionally, they're all members of academic staff. I'm not too worried about the professional development part at this point, that's tested elsewhere on the programme. And I do want them to think quite carefully about the contexts in which they're working, which is particularly important in academic practice. So if I take away the graduate outcomes which aren't really relevant, that leaves me with these ones down here. And I'm going to use these to produce marking criteria for this particular task. The way that I'm choosing to produce the feedback for this particular assignment is to have a marking grid in which I can highlight performance, the level to which performance has been achieved, for example, so that students will get that back, together with some comments at the end. Just get rid of those ticks. So what I need to do is to interpret the University Standards descriptors for this particular assignment. So if I just pull out this one here, this is the standards descriptor for performance at 86 to 100% at this level. And here is the equivalent for this particular assignment task. So you can see some slight differences there. I don't need the students to carry out a project for this assignment because they're going to be doing that later in the programme when they do a dissertation. Similarly, I don't need them to be doing anything with primary sources at this stage, but I do want them to practice working with secondary sources. And a really good project at level 7 should be of publishable standard, or a truly excellent one, not even really good. So you can see how, hopefully you can see here, how I've just adapted that a little bit in order to provide the context for this particular assignment. So what that will give me in the end is a marking grid that I can share with students in the assignment brief. This is actually the assignment brief for this unit. It hasn't run this in this particular form yet, which is why there are no submission dates filled in yet, but this is my blank format. And along with the details about submission and so on. There'll be a full grid of things there. We'll tick the areas, we'll highlight the areas where they've achieved, and then there'll be comments at the end, which start with the phrases I really liked. And when you go on to the individual assignment, so the individual assignment will be the second part of the work for this particular unit. So there'll be specific recommendations to help them with that there. And that should be it for this one. If you'd like any more information about assessment at MMU, you can check out the Centre for Excellence in Learning and Teaching's assessment resources, which you can find at this address.